So I'm just sitting on Twitter, minding my own business, going through the motions, enjoying my Thursday, and then I see this pop up. AEW finds its quote-unquote Austin-McMahon in Sting and Darby and Kenny and Callis. So I saw this. This is from the Wrestling Observer. Now, look, Planet Productions made a video yesterday about accepting other people's opinions and the wrestling community becoming toxic, but I had to address this. So here's the quote. I'm going to read through this now. The quote, or the article story goes, I wasn't sure how to title this, but as a person who has liked/loved AEW at various points, and being critical too, e.g. the Matt Hardy injury fiasco, I feel one of the key issues many of us have been trying to put our finger on the last year, what is AEW, has been identified. Sting is a megastar, and Darby screams breakout star. He feels authentic, visceral, I can't even say that, fresh, real. Sting's dynamic with Darby and satellite characters like Cody and Arn Anderson and so forth has the aura of a top-level, must-see story for me. It feels intriguing, but also with direction, unlike, to use a tired but accurate example, modern WWE or Russo, where they do a great first or second week, but have no real long-term plan. AEW has earned my faith that they have a direction and a payoff in mind. And then you have Omega hitting his stride with Callis, and he has that Austin-esque, must-see immediacy about the character and that character's goals to me. I'm not saying he's the same as Austin. He's a heel for one, for Christ's sake. But both what's happening with Omega and Sting right now feel A-level. Must-see. Changing by the week. Real. Credible. Deep. And of substance. The vibe I have towards AEW right now is what I always wished for them, and they showed glimpses of over the past year. I hope Tony Khan's hyperbolic statements about changing the game on a week it wasn't being changed are a blip. I hope the substance I feel the promotion has promised the last 2 weeks accurately projects the future of the promotion. This is the most enthusiastic I've felt so far for AEW, having a key focus and a must-see character that would develop, or that would make someone need to tune in week to week to see develop. I wish nothing more than for them to follow through on the promise of the last 2 weeks and become a truly great and long-term relevant promotion. Whew, there we go. So that's that article basically read through. The comparison is being made, let's just get this back to the surface level. The comparison is being made between Stone Cold Steve Austin and Vince McMahon's incredible pro wrestling cataclysmic shifting rivalry in 1998, 1999, the Attitude Era that epitomized and changed pop culture. The comparison is being made between that and Sting coming into AEW and looking at Darby Allin who's sitting in the rafters. The comparison's being made between Stone Cold and Vince McMahon and Kenny Omega arriving on a helicopter with Don Callis to AEW Dynamite and then standing in the ring and reciting the same promo he cut the night before. I mean, look, I'm a fan of what Sting and Darby Allin are doing right now. I'm a big fan of what Kenny Omega and Don Callis are doing with this whole AEW and Impact Wrestling crossover. I'm really enjoying both of them. But what I want to talk about in this video is more so wrestling fans and this whole kind of logic of I'm really enjoying something right now. I'm going to make a comparison between something in the past, which at times it can be good. It can be a really good example, a really good comparison, but then you get examples like this where you get someone who is clearly a big supporter of All Elite Wrestling, someone who works at Wrestling Observer who gets great enjoyment out of watching AEW, and if you enjoy watching AEW, that's amazing. Personally, I really enjoyed last night's Dynamite episode. You get these people who watch pro wrestling attentively, they love AEW Dynamite, and then they make takes like this. AEW finds its Austin-McMahon in Sting and Darby and Kenny and Callis. Okay, I don't know how Kenny Omega and Don Callis is even comparable to Austin-McMahon. It's completely different. it really is completely different. If you wanted to say maybe Reigns and Heyman, I think that's a more realistic comparison. Like, if you're going to try and compare stuff, at least make the comparisons timely and a bit more realistic. I think like that's my best way of describing it, because yes, Omega, Don Callis, in the week they've really been together since Winter is Coming, they've done some amazing work, and I don't think that should go unnoticed for a second. They're doing some truly like superstar type work. What Kenny Omega's doing at the moment, everything he's involved in feels must-see, which is a sign of a legit, like, superstar. But comparing that to Austin versus McMahon, okay, jumping the gun just a little bit, I'd say, just quite a lot, I'd say. I think having Austin McMahon and what they did for pro wrestling, Austin and McMahon, not by themselves, but they were the spearheads of leading the WWF from getting, what ratings are they getting each week? 2.6s in the ratings, and then they led them to getting 7s. Now, it wasn't just them, but they were a massive part of that. So you've got someone here comparing Darby Allin and Sting, something which, granted, could be really cool. Like, I think Darby Allin and Sting, the whole concept of that is sick. Basically, Darby Allin is almost like he's Sting's son in that sense. The face paint, the feel, the overall look, just Darby Allin is a miniature Sting Jr. basically. So that dynamic is cool, but nothing about that screams Austin McMahon. They're completely different. They really are completely different. Like, if I had to make a comparison to this, I mean, Jesus, take your pick. I mean, they could have done something with like Bray Wyatt and Undertaker, maybe. I don't know. It's a hard comparison to really make effectively, and comparisons themselves are a bit dumb. In a lot of the cases, they're not necessary. In this case, with Sting and Darby Allin being akin to Austin McMahon, it's just not there. Just because both are really good / all-time great in Austin McMahon's case, doesn't mean they have to be compared to something which is really good at the moment. Okay, because for one, it's too early to even tell what long-term impact this has. Give this 2 years. Maybe Kenny Omega goes on one of the greatest runs professional wrestling's ever seen. He wins the AEW World Championship, the Impact World Championship, the MLW World Championship, the ROH World title, the New Japan title. He becomes the belt collector, holds like 8 belts at once, becomes the biggest thing ever in pro wrestling, and maybe it really does become as great as Austin McMahon. We don't know. Do I think that'll happen? Probably not. Will Kenny Omega be the biggest star in pro wrestling in 2021? It's looking like he will at this current stage. Now, you never know what's going to happen, but given how Kenny's building into 2021 at the moment, it looks like he's going to be pro wrestling's biggest star in 2021. So maybe Kenny's star is going to elevate a little bit closer to Steve Austin's, but I still think comparing Stone Cold Steve Austin and McMahon, the star power of that, the greatness, the longevity of what they had going on, to Kenny Omega and Don Callis and what they've done in an 8-day period, I do think that's a bit sacrilegious. That's a bit blasphemous. I think those are fair words to use. I tweeted this out. Just retweeted this article on my Twitter, and a lot of the replies were just barf emojis, no, ill, terrible take, that kind of thing. So this is a consensus opinion. This is someone from Wrestling Observer who's going against the grain, doing an opinion which, I mean, if they genuinely think Sting and Darby Allin is the next Austin McMahon, then fair play. But objectively speaking, I had to call this out because it's just blasphemous. Like, this is the thing. As Plana Productions said in his video yesterday, videos like the one I'm making now, are they a little toxic? I don't think they are. I'm just calling out, trying to objectively call out a sacrilegious take. So that's basically been the video. Just wanted to talk about this thing because Austin McMahon's being compared to Darby Allin and Sting and Omega and Callis. Okay, rightio, just because there's an old man involved in each, or all of them, and there's like a younger guy who is like a promising star in the other, I guess. They're trying to make the comparison there. I don't know. Neither of these are Austin McMahon. Give it 3 years. If AEW is getting 5s in the ratings in 3 years' time because of the amazing work of Kenny Omega and Don Callis, maybe I'll make the Austin McMahon comparison then. But for now, it's been literally a week and a half with them being a legit pairing in AEW and Impact Wrestling. Breathe, wait, calm down. That's been the video. Like, comment, subject's on drill. See ya.